Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, previewing Week 6 in college football. And right now we're going to cover the Arizona State USC game. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
All right, thank you, Peter.
All right, Joe Duffy, you gave us an interesting analysis on Michigan State. We're really getting the insider's opinion on these games, and you talked with your other contacts in the industry. So thanks for doing all these calls with us. Give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com before we hear what you have to say about the USC game.
Yeah, at OffshoreInsiders.com, we measure success by the year, by the decade, and by the quarter century. We've already got 6 Wise Guy plays, which I believe is a season high for college football, up this weekend among 9 plays, and that we're still going to look at some totals. It's all now you can get them before the lines move, although a couple of the lines did move because A, we influence the markets, B, we use a lot of the same parameters that other people influence the markets do. But get down on the plays early at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Well, unfortunately for these calls, we can't yet use totals because right before the call, I checked and the totals still weren't out yet. But, this is a game where maybe USC Arizona State, maybe you want to take a look at the over. I have no idea where this line is going to come out, but obviously, Arizona State has major problems on defense. They got rolled by UCLA last week, and USC came off of bye and get very impressive performance against Oregon State. Oregon State is not a slouch team. They have a quality passing offense, and USC absolutely contained them. So looking at last week's results, you got to think that USC is the play here. They opened at about 10, now it's 11.5 or 12. Maybe that's a little bit too square to look at last week's results and say USC should have the edge here, even as a double-digit favorite. But maybe you don't want to outthink yourself. Maybe that is the way to go. What do you think, Joe?
No, we do agree here. I'm a little bit worried about the line move because we had our outlaw line at only 9.5, and the outlaw line is what we say the line should be, and that is before there's any public perception and the markets move, et cetera. But still, at the end of the day, I do like USC, despite the fact that the line is a teeny bit higher than we did project it. Now, remember, those of you who've been watching the videos, or more importantly, if you've been my client for years and years and years, we had the bubble burst theory, and I've even said on some of your videos, another guy whose opinion I trust, he applies it a little bit earlier in the year. And I finally found there's a lot of different software that we use, and some of them have different parameters you can enter. But you know what? In reality, maybe we should have been applying it, because when teams have at least a bare minimum of 3 wins under their belt, and they're off of their first loss of the year, they followed up at only an 88, 127, and 3 rate. So that would say to fade Arizona State. And for strangely enough, and it may or may not make sense, if the team's not on a short week, the one exception if it's a team plays on a Thursday, like following a Saturday, but you might say that the reason they can get back up because it's more of a high-profile game, et cetera, when they're not playing on a short week, they're only 83 and 126. So, yeah, this is a case where I do think that Arizona State will, as you said, and backed up by statistics, they'll be on a little bit of what we like to call the bubble burst theory. Remember, USC, their only loss was actually in the Eastern time zone. We gave that as a free pick here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. It wasn't a premium pick, but we did give it as a free pick. We said that was a terrible situation for USC, and it certainly was. USC in a little bit of a revenge situation. They were crushed last year so badly. Remember, that was a game that got Lane Kiffin fired. So this is a little bit of a statement game for us. And remember also what we said in one of our videos earlier. I think that good teams, they don't just take out their frustrations in the game after a loss. Still think USC has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from that loss against Boston College. Too many people say, well, they lost their last game. I think they'll take out the frustrations here, and then they'll forget about it. No, good teams don't do that. I think USC still a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, not only a revenge here, but a little angry from their loss on the East Coast. I think they're going to run up the score here.
All right, makes sense to me, Joe, and I have to think that the public's going to be betting a USC here as well. So if the Sharps and the public wind up being on USC, we might see this line close dead on 14, maybe even 14.5. All right, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks so much for your thoughts. Like in USC currently minus 11.5.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.